The sun was sinking behind the ragged cliffs of Redwater Valley when rancher Colt Maddox first noticed the stranger walking alone near the ravine. Her name, he would soon learn, was Mara Finch, a woman with dust in her hair, fear in her eyes, and a torn satchel clutched to her chest like it held the last piece of her soul. The valley was quiet, save for the wind pushing sand across Colt's boots, yet something about the way Mara moved hurried, glancing over her shoulder, as if chased by something unseen, pulled him off his horse and toward her without thinking. She stumbled near the edge of her rock formation, dropped to one knee, then snapped upright when she realized Colt was approaching. "Stay back," she hissed, breath ragged, "and whatever you do, don't look over there." She pointed sharply toward a cluster of boulders half buried in red sand. Her voice trembled, and Colt could tell it wasn't the tremble of someone who was afraid of him, but someone terrified he might see something she didn't want to reveal. But Colt was a rancher born of instinct, and instincts told him that when a stranger says don't look, it usually means you're already too late. He stepped closer anyway, his boots crunching under the dry earth, ignoring her plea as she grabbed his arm to stop him. "I said don't," she whispered intensely, but Colt pulled free, brushing past her. He didn't know what he expected, maybe a wounded animal, maybe stolen goods, maybe even an outlaw waiting to strike. But what he saw lodged in his mind with the weight of a railroad spike. Behind the boulders was a charred wagon, half hidden, half collapsed, still smoldering as if burned only hours earlier. And beside it, 3 carved wooden markers pushed into the dirt, makeshift graves, fresh, carefully placed. Not hastily done, not desperate, done with love, done with grief. Mara collapsed behind him, burying her face in her palms. "I didn't want anyone to see," she whispered. "They weren't supposed to die out here." Colt turned, heart sinking as the truth reshaped itself in his chest. Mara hadn't been hiding something dangerous. She'd been hiding her dead family, a husband, 2 children. Taken in a fire she hadn't had the strength to outrun. Colt approached her slowly, kneeling beside her, but before he could speak, Mara snapped her head up. "If word gets out," she said, voice hardening from sorrow to fury, "the townsfolk will blame me. They always do, especially after what happened last time." Colt didn't know what last time was, but grief carved deep lines across her face, lines that told him this wasn't her first tragedy. And yet, despite her warnings, despite her pain, he had looked. He had seen the graves she wanted hidden, and that act alone, just looking, set off a chain of events that the valley would remember for years. For as the final sliver of sun dipped behind the cliffs, a distant howling echoed through the ravine, low, rumbling, not entirely human, and Mara grabbed Colt's hand with sudden desperation. "They know someone else found us," she whispered, "and they're coming." Colt didn't know who they were, but the fear in her voice told him one thing: the night wasn't going to end peacefully, and whatever came next would not only test their courage, but ignite a firestorm across Redwater Valley. Viewers, if you're gripped by this unfolding Western mystery, make sure to subscribe so you never miss the next chapter of this thrilling tale. Night fell like a hammer, fast and heavy, smothering Redwater Valley in a darkness so complete Colt could barely see Mara's outline beside him. The howling grew louder, bouncing off the canyon walls with a strange echo that didn't match any coyote or wolf he'd ever heard. Mara urged him back toward the ravine's mouth, her breath hitching with every step. "Those markers," she said between gasps, "weren't meant to be found, not yet, not until I could go back and bring them home proper." Colt didn't ask where home was. but he saw the fire in her eyes. She wasn't running from guilt. She was running from whoever wanted that grief buried deeper than the graves themselves. They reached Colt's horse as the wind picked up fiercely, blowing dust into a spiraling frenzy. And just as Colt grabbed Mara to lift her into the saddle, 3 horsemen appeared at the ridge above, their silhouettes backlit by a pale, rising moon. Their faces were hidden beneath long coats and low, brimmed hats, but Colt recognized their trademark stance. The *** Rook brothers ** men the law didn't touch, and the townsfolk feared too much to speak about. The eldest, Cade Rook, shouted down with a voice that grated like metal dragged across stone. "Shouldn't have looked, rancher," he barked. "The girl warned ya, now you're in it." The youngest brother cocked his rifle and pointed it straight at Mara. Rage burned in Colt as he shielded her with his own body. "They're lying," Mara whispered urgently. "They're the ones who burned the wagon. They're the reason my family—" Her voice cracked, but before she could finish, a shot shattered the ground beside Colt's boot. The brothers weren't trying to scare him. They were signaling the start of something much bigger, something planned. Colt grabbed his horse's reins, spurred forward, and the animal lunged into a sprint as bullets tore through the night. Mara clung to him, crying out when a shot grazed her shoulder. Colt didn't look back. He couldn't. Not with the Rook brothers thundering down the ridge after them, fire in their eyes and vengeance in their hearts. They raced across the valley until they reached an abandoned line shack. Colt slid off the saddle, dragged Mara inside, and blocked the doorway with an overturned table. She winced in pain, but her voice stayed sharp. "You shouldn't have looked," she repeated, "not because of me, because they kill anyone who sees their sins." Colt tied a cloth around her bleeding shoulder, then let them try. He growled, "This valley's been afraid of them too long." Outside, horses circled like wolves. Cade Rook shouted, "We're tacking her. And if you protect her, Maddox, you will enrage every man in this valley who knows better than to cross us." Colt stood, grabbing his rifle. He knew helping Mara wouldn't just anger the Rooks. It would draw the fury of the entire valley, a valley ruled by fear, silence, and power the townsfolk never dared challenge. But he also knew something else. Some things were worth fighting for, even dying for. Mara looked up at him, eyes full of loss yet burning with a spark she thought she'd never feel again hope. Colt racked his rifle, let him be enraged. He muttered, "I'm done looking away." The door shook as the Rooks rammed it. Colt raised his rifle. Mara steadied herself beside him. The battle for Redwater Valley had begun. Viewers, if this story pulled you in, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss the next chapter of this epic Western saga.